There's an undeniable allure to the unknown. It's a pull that many of us feel, a curiosity that tugs at the edges of our minds, urging us to explore what lies beyond the veil of the familiar. A shiver down your spine when you hear a floorboard creak in an empty house. It's a sound that echoes through the silence, a reminder that you are not alone, even when you think you are. The hair on your arm standing on end as a cold wind whips through a graveyard. The atmosphere is thick with the weight of untold stories, of lives once lived and now forgotten. We are drawn to the darkness, to the mysteries that lie hidden in the shadows. It's a fascination that has been with humanity since the dawn of time, a need to uncover what is concealed. And few things embody this more than a haunted house. These structures stand as silent sentinels, guarding the secrets of the past, waiting for someone brave enough to uncover them. Across the world, abandoned and forgotten structures whisper tales of tragedy and terror. Each one has its own story, its own history of sorrow and despair, etched into its very walls. They stand as monuments to a darker past, their crumbling walls holding secrets best left undisturbed. Yet these secrets call out to us, tempting us to uncover the truth. But some are brave enough, or foolish enough, to seek out these places. They are driven by a need to experience the unknown, to feel the thrill of stepping into the past. They crave the chilling touch of fear, the adrenaline rush of the unknown. It's a sensation that is both terrifying and exhilarating, a dance with the darkness that few can resist. This is the story of 3 such places. Each one holds its own unique mysteries, its own tales of the supernatural, waiting to be discovered. 3 houses with a past shrouded in darkness where the veil between our world and the next wears thin. In these places, the boundary between the living and the dead is almost non-existent. Are you brave enough to step inside, to face the unknown and uncover the secrets that lie within? The darkness beckons, and only the courageous will answer its call.
Deep in the woods outside the forgotten town of Blackwood stands a dilapidated cabin, half swallowed by encroaching vines and decay. The air around it is thick with an eerie silence, broken only by the occasional rustle of leaves or the distant call of a nightbird. Locals call it the Witch's Lair, and they whisper tales of its former resident, a woman named Agatha, who lived there alone in the early 1800s. Her presence still lingers in the stories passed down through generations. Agatha was known for her strange concoctions and her ability to heal the sick, but she was also feared, accused of witchcraft by those who didn't understand her ways. Her home was filled with mysterious artifacts, herbs, and potions that added to her enigmatic aura. One night, Agatha vanished. Some say she fled into the woods, fearing for her life. The townsfolk searched for her, but she was never found, leaving behind only questions and a sense of unease. Others claim she was taken by forces unseen, her spirit bound to the cabin she called home. They believe her ghost still roams the woods, protecting her secrets and watching over her abandoned lair. Whatever the truth, the cabin has remained abandoned ever since, a looming shadow in the woods, whispering Agatha's name on the wind. It stands as a testament to the mysteries and fears that still haunt the town of Blackwood, a place where the past and the supernatural intertwine. For decades, locals have avoided the Witch's Lair, warned of a curse that befalls those who dare enter. But teenagers, fueled by dares and ghost stories, are often drawn to such places. One summer night, 4 friends decided to test their bravery. They snuck into the woods, flashlights cutting through the darkness, their laughter echoing through the silent trees. They approached the cabin cautiously, its silence unnerving. As they stepped onto the porch, the floorboards groaned in protest. Inside, dust caked every surface, cobwebs hung from the rafters, and the air hung heavy with the scent of decay. But there was something else too, a feeling of being watched, of unseen eyes following their every move.
The grand Victorian mansion at the edge of Willow Creek was once the epitome of wealth and prosperity. Built in the late 1800s by the wealthy industrialist Edward Belmont, it was the envy of the town. But tragedy struck the Belmont family. Edward's wife, Eleanor, died suddenly, leaving him to raise their 3 young children alone. Grief-stricken, Edward became withdrawn and reclusive, rarely leaving the mansion. Then, one by one, his children began to die as well. Each death was shrouded in mystery, attributed to strange illnesses or freak accidents. The townsfolk whispered that the Belmont family was cursed, their once grand home now a place of sorrow and despair. Edward Belmont died a broken man alone in his mansion, his cries of anguish echoing through the empty halls. After Edward's death, the mansion changed hands several times, but no one could stay for long. Each new owner reported strange occurrences, disembodied voices whispering their names, cold spots, and the feeling of being watched.
Some claim to have seen the ghostly figures of the Belmont children, their eyes filled with a haunting sadness. One couple, determined to restore the mansion to its former glory, refused to believe the stories. They hired a team of renovators and began the daunting task of bringing the house back to life.
But as they worked, the strange occurrences intensified. Tools went missing, lights flickered, and the workers reported feeling cold hands on their shoulders.
Miles from civilization, down a winding dirt road, sits a dilapidated farmhouse. Its paint is peeling, windows boarded shut, and the porch sags precariously, threatening to collapse at any moment. This is no ordinary abandoned building. This is the site of a gruesome tragedy, a place where evil took root and refused to let go. The last family to live there, the Harpers, met a horrific end. One night, in the dead of winter, a fire swept through the farmhouse, claiming the lives of all inside. The cause of the fire was never determined, but the townsfolk whispered of murder-suicide, of a family driven mad by an unknown force. After the fire, the farmhouse stood empty, a charred reminder of the tragedy that had unfolded within its walls. Locals avoided the place, claiming that the land itself was cursed. Those who dared venture near after dark spoke of strange lights emanating from the windows, and the sound of children's laughter carried on the wind.
One night, a group of paranormal investigators decided to spend the night in the farmhouse, hoping to document whatever dark forces remained. Armed with cameras, EVP recorders, and EMF detectors, they set up their equipment, ready to confront the unknown.
As darkness fell, the temperature dropped, and a palpable sense of dread settled over the investigators. They began to hear noises, footsteps creaking on the stairs, whispers coming from the empty rooms. Their EMF detectors spiked erratically, and their cameras captured strange anomalies, orbs of light, shadowy figures darting across the hallways.
One investigator, a seasoned ghost hunter, reported feeling a cold hand grip his arm, leaving behind a burning sensation. Another claimed to have seen the ghostly apparition of a young girl standing at the foot of his bed, her eyes filled with an unnerving sadness.
Terrified but determined, the investigators continued to document their findings throughout the night. They captured EVP recordings of disembodied voices, whispering their names and pleading for help. As the sun began to rise, they packed up their equipment, exhausted and shaken to their core.
The evidence they had gathered was undeniable. The farmhouse was haunted, a conduit to the other side, where the spirits of the Harper family remained, trapped in an endless loop of suffering and despair.
These are just a few of the countless stories of haunted houses that dot our world, each with its own chilling tale. Places where tragedy and terror have left an indelible mark, where the veil between our world and the next wears thin, almost inviting the unknown. Are these stories merely the product of overactive imaginations fueled by fear and folklore? Or do they hold a kernel of truth, a glimpse into the supernatural? Or is there something more to these places, something that defies explanation and challenges our understanding of reality? Would you dare to spend a night in the witch's lair, listening for Agatha's whispers on the wind, feeling the chill of her presence? Or explore the darkened hallways of the Belmont mansion, hoping not to encounter the ghostly children who are said to roam its corridors? The choice is yours, but tread carefully. But be warned, some doors are best left unopened, some secrets best left buried, for they hold the power to change you forever. For the darkness beckons, and you never know what horrors may await you on the other side. Will you take the risk, or will you turn away, leaving the mysteries unsolved? Subscribe, like, comment, and submit your own experiences to mrcstorytime@gmail.com.